My name is Reverend Dale Brown, and I am so thrilled to share with you two devotions this week taken from the last book of the Bible. That book we know to be Revelation. And chapter 21, verses 1 through 7 reads, "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, 'Now the dwelling of God is with men, and he will live with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them, and be their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away.' He who was seated on the throne said, 'I am making everything new.' Then he said, 'Write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true.' He said to me, 'It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To him who is thirsty I will give to drink without cost from the spring of the water of life. He who overcomes will inherit all this, and I will be his God, and he will be my son." The book of Revelation is both one of the most amazing books of the Bible, but also one of the most troubling. We often interpret it only in terms of what its future meaning might be, but it's a letter written by John in the language of the day to Asia Minor, which is modern day Turkey. And it speaks both to the people then, and it speaks to us now. I must tell you that I very, very rarely ever preach from this book of the Bible. And yet I know it to be important. Often the only day I ever preach from this book of Revelation is on All Saints' Day. I'd like to today point out to you something that I think is really amazing. God's church, God's people, are described as a bride on her wedding day. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, my son, Zachary, and his fiancée, Allison, were married. And it was a beautiful, wonderful, special, great event. We had been planning this event for over a year, and it was my job as father of the groom to do exactly what I was told to do. And I did it to the very best of my ability. I got to officiate at the wedding, and it's a memory that I will carry with me all of my life. I have to say to you that I already, prior to the wedding, believed that Zach's bride, Allison, was beautiful. But every woman, when they swing open those doors at the back of the church, and she, as the bride in her wedding gown, begins to come down the aisle, is absolutely beautiful. It's just the nature of the day and the reality of the presence and power and greatness of love. That's where we're headed, folks. In the mess that is our world today, with all the stuff that's happening and all the ugliness that we're surrounded with, be it because of health issues or racism or sin or just human meanness, that bad stuff doesn't win. The future that we're going toward is this picture of the greatest day in the life of any married couple, their wedding day, when she is still the most beautiful woman, he's still the most handsome man, but not just for one day, but for eternity.